Good afternoon. Welcome to the Midday Mull for Wednesday, the 24th of January. Working our way through the book of Acts with McShane, we read chapter 24, the continuing story of Paul and his arrest and the trials. In today's chapter, the Jewish leadership come up from Jerusalem with a lawyer. They present their case before Felix, the governor, and then Paul makes his defense. At the end of it all, we're told Felix, who was well acquainted with the way, adjourned the proceedings. Now I read that, I thought, how was the governor acquainted with the way, which is what the church was called back then? Many people at the time thought it was a sect of Judaism, but however it was viewed, it was making an impact. People were talking about it. The governor was aware of it. And we need to, as a church, be doing the same kind of thing. People ought to be aware of us. And for the right reasons. Sometimes the wrong reasons get the headlines. So we need to get out into the world and be known. The governor kept Paul under essentially house arrest and would send for him and come and speak to him, and he would listen to Paul. He was intrigued by him. And after Paul had spoken to him once, we're told, he said, "That's enough for now. You may leave. When I find it convenient, I will send for you." At the same time, he was hoping that Paul would offer him a bribe, so he sent for him frequently and talked with him. And I read that and I thought, what could Paul possibly offer that would interest the governor? Surely the governor had a decent salary, he had all sorts of resources, and here was Paul. He wasn't a wealthy man. This wasn't a king or some other kind of great trader. This was a preacher. But I suppose that's what the fall has done to people. Greed will do what it can for the little it can get and will bend the rules, and it doesn't actually make sense most of the time. And as I read that, I thought, not much has changed. In the world today, the people in power, you shouldn't think they would need to bribe anyone or try to get anything on the side because they have sufficient, but they do. And the governor did it then. We see people in authority doing it today, 2,000 years later. We live in a fallen world. Paul survived, we will survive. Paul was able to go on from there and continue preaching. We need to keep going, keep sharing the good news. And take heart from the fact that in a world where things are not always going according to our plan. We're told, as we continue reading there, that Paul was kept under arrest essentially for 2 years. It wasn't a pleasant place to be, but he survived. And we go through life not always a wonderful place, not always what we would want, but it's where we are in a fallen world, bringing the good news, bringing the light, and making a difference where we can. Be encouraged by that thought and be challenged by it as well, and know that we are blessed.